What if the Nen gods gave Chrollo a funky little highlighter? Hello everyone and welcome back to Suck War Central. My name is CJ and today we're going to be discussing the most attractive man in Hunter x Hunter, Chrollo Lucifer. Or at least, I wish we were going to be discussing how hot he is, but we're actually going to be taking a look at this book of his, specifically how it could get better. You see, Chrollo is currently on the hunt for a national treasure of Kakian in order to upgrade Skill Hunter to hold a specific kind of ability that he can't currently make use of. So let's dive into the different kinds of upgrades he could be searching for. I want to start off by saying that depending on the translation you read, it's not actually clear whether or not Skill Hunter's current version can capture the ability Chrollo is looking for. No hate to Lillian Olson, Hunter x Hunter is extremely difficult to translate weekly, but I feel the official translation isn't much more reliable than some of the scans I've been reading, so it is important to talk about. Anyway, in the official translation, Chrollo implies Skill Hunter can't currently hold the ability he wants, but in the Togashi's troop translation, he just says, before the usual activation conditions, I need to steal a national treasure. In my opinion, it's more likely that this is a case similar to Sun and Moon. Because Sun and Moon requires two hands, Chrollo had to evolve Skill Hunter once in order to wield it, since before that, he needed to hold the book open with one hand. The upgrade in question ended up being a bookmark, and my guess is that his upgrade here might be some other book functionality like that. Now, it could be as simple as a second bookmark that does the same thing, but I'm inclined to think that Togashi wouldn't do the exact same thing twice. So let's consider what kind of problem with Skill Hunter Chrollo could be trying to solve to begin with. The simplest answer is that Chrollo, he might just want another bookmark in order to use multiple abilities at once. After all, the plan he used on Hisoka the first time required a hefty combination of abilities, and he can't repeat that strategy. Whatever plan Chrollo's going for now is his second choice. Maybe it needs 3 abilities at once, aside from Sun and Moon, which I'd like to remind you, remain active even when the book is closed. So, here's a spicy way for him to do something like that without just getting another bookmark. What if Chrollo had a highlighter or a pen? He could use them to highlight, circle, or underline part of an ability in his book to keep it active all the time. Maybe it doesn't let him maintain the whole third ability, but he can focus its effects on one specific part of it with the pen/highlighter. This could let him execute an elaborate combo against Hisoka that he currently can't perform, and it would fit the theming of having a book. However, it's also possible that the problem Chrollo is trying to solve is the ease of ability stealing. Currently, Chrollo has a crap ton of conditions to meet in order to steal an ability. As we saw in his fight with Silva and Zeno, this makes it pretty much impossible to do mid-combat. However, what if he didn't have to meet all those pesky conditions? Chrollo might just be able to steal bungee gum from right under Hisoka's nose and disarm the mad magician. In his last fight with Chrollo, Hisoka was using bungee gum left and right, and he really wouldn't have gotten very far without it. It's possible the ideal partner Chrollo is looking for has some ability that would allow Chrollo to steal bungee gum, but that partner could also be Hisoka. So here's an idea for an upgrade that would make stealing an ability easier. Chrollo gets a pencil, and he can use that pencil to write in his book. If his writing accurately describes an ability, then as soon as he sees that ability, he temporarily steals it. However, as soon as he steals it, a conjured eraser starts erasing his writing, and he has until it's all erased to use the ability. This could make for a shocking coup de grace against Hisoka. He goes to use his gum, only to find that Chrollo has stolen it, and uses it himself to help deliver the finishing blow. It's an idea that I think goes pretty hard, but unfortunately I don't think it's gonna happen. See, the way Chrollo talks about this ability he's looking for, he makes it sound like a more permanent solution. Stealing Hisoka's gum is more of a defensive measure than an offensive one, and I can't help but think that Chrollo is after an ability that kills its target super dead. Also, in this scene, Chrollo talks about running the risk of encountering Hisoka, which would be kind of a weird thing to say for someone who's actively tracking him. Again, not impossible, Togashi has been known to do a bit of the old wordplay, but still highly doubtful. So what else could it be? Okay, maybe Chrollo isn't stealing bungee gum, but I think I kinda cooked with the pencil idea. And maybe seeing the ability in action isn't gonna be the one condition he still has to meet. It could be something else entirely, like asking questions and having them answered or touching the book. Where I'm going with this is that Chrollo might need to loosen the restrictions if he wants to steal an exceptionally lethal ability, one that kills anyone who sees it. It's not out of the question, after all. Only one person can see Silent Majority's doll, so we have precedent for these vision shenanigans with Nen. Maybe it's some kind of curse, and only the person it kills can see it. That would potentially make it impossible for Chrollo to technically witness the ability in action. Okay, maybe seeing the victim die still counts, then I'll up the ante. What if it's an ability that, like Nove's hide and seek, creates a pocket dimension, and the only people to enter that pocket dimension are then killed by it? Or what if it's an ability that completely erases someone from existence and memory, making it impossible for Chrollo to observe and remember it? We can apply this to other conditions too. What if the ability makes it so its user destroys anything their hand touches? Then Chrollo wouldn't be able to make them touch the book. I mean, he could, but it probably wouldn't count. Or what if the ability forbids the user from answering questions? Look, the point is, Chrollo might need to loosen the conditions on his ability because otherwise, it is literally impossible for him to meet all the conditions to steal what he wants without dying. So, in order to do that, he has to upgrade the whole of Skill Hunter so it's easier to get abilities in the first place, etc., etc. Another idea along this line is that the upgrade might simply be more pages. Chrollo has had a very prolific career as a thief and an end user, and stolen countless abilities throughout that time which are taking up space in his book. It's entirely possible the guy is simply out of room, and completing this heist will add more blank pages. It could also be that the ability he's after is going to add some serious walls of text to his book. I mean, try explaining Contagion or Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure in a timely fashion. What if he's after a similarly complicated ability and needs the extra space? All that said, I think the true most likely answer is that Chrollo simply can't activate the ability with Skill Hunter as it exists. For example, what if, and this is wishful thinking, Chrollo has to be naked when he activates it, and having a book on his person violates that rule? Okay, it's probably not that, but given that Chrollo wants to use this ability to completely erase Hisoka, there's a high likelihood that it is incredibly destructive. If there's a risk of it destroying the book before it destroys Hisoka, then it could shut down and be useless in combat. Maybe the upgrade will be sheath protectors that spare the book from harm. Okay, we've gotten a little off track, and that's not exactly what I was trying to say just now anyway. This last example is, I think, the best illustration of what I was going for, and also just a winner of a theory in general. What if Chrollo is looking for an ability that requires him to be in Zetsu to activate? See, Zetsu involves closing off the body's aura nodes. As we saw with Theta's training of Terror Sandwich, entering Zetsu causes conjured objects to disappear. Thus, if Chrollo were to steal an ability that required him to use Zetsu, the book would disappear as soon as he entered that state, and if the book is gone, Chrollo can't use the ability, making it essentially unusable for him even if he successfully steals the Hatsu. Hear me out. What if Chrollo gets a bookmark? A different one. His second bookmark, instead of allowing him to use abilities when the book isn't open to that page, could save his place and stop the book from dematerializing when he enters Zetsu. There's precedent for this already. Some Nen abilities only work when the user is in Zetsu, despite this being a seeming contradiction. And speak of the devil, we have a solid pair right here to choose from. Chrollo could be going after the ability of either Camilla or Terror Sandwich. Both are good bets. Terror Sandwich's ability is essentially an instant kill against anyone who doesn't know about it as far as we know. But, all things considered, I'm leaning towards Cat Who Lived a Million Lives. Firstly, Camilla is dead set on staying in Zetsu and using her own ability and not making use of her guardian spirit beast. If she were to lose this ability, however, that would give Togashi an excuse to show off Camilla's guardian spirit beast. Secondly, this ability is certain death for anyone who kills its user before reviving said user with the victim's life force. This is exactly the type of ability Chrollo would want. It hardly requires any strategy to use, it just gets results. Now, you may ask, why would Chrollo, the renowned strategist, want an ability that doesn't require strategy? Because he's a sad boy, that's why. This man is drowning in an ocean of grief, and part of him wants to throw his life away against Hisoka. An ability where all he has to do is get killed would allow him to completely give in to those emotions that are threatening to overwhelm him and literally die to kill Hisoka. It suits his emotional state perfectly and would accomplish his goal flawlessly. Now, I'm gonna cap off this video with a little prediction. I expect it to go something like this. Chrollo gets Camilla's ability, and after a lengthy battle with Hisoka, allows himself to be killed in Zetsu to activate it. Hisoka sees the Nen Beast appear before him, and quickly surmises its function. However, knowing he's a dead man, and in order to deny Chrollo that last bit of satisfaction, Hisoka kills himself. Thus, the cat has no life to steal, and Chrollo remains dead, making it a double suicide. I think this would be a perfect way for Chrollo to go out, and it would be really emblematic of his story and character as a whole. All that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this dive into what Chrollo could be cooking up in his book. I hope you'll join me next time for more Hunter x Hunter yapping, and I hope you have a wonderful day.